Good morning and welcome to Sunday Special. Dr. Lamba's Away Explains Sikhism, the new episode. Sikhism is marked by Kirtan, and Kirtan is singing the hymns composed by gurus, saints, sages in absolute conformity with the classical Indian music, the ragas. As a matter of fact, the Sikh tradition is right from the Guru, first Guru, Guru Nanak. His companion, Bhai Mardana, used to carry rabab. Rabab is a stringed instrument, more like a star, but carried easier to carry. Unlike guitar, but quite like star. Now, this rabab has a different quality and it's only found in that part of the world. And he composed all the hymns and they sang them, recited them in the classical. So much so that the tradition continues all the time. And all the gurus, when they composed a song, a hymn, they mentioned to which raga it should be sung. Now, ragas are an important part of the Indian culture. I'll take up the subject separately, but just to say, the ragas have been praised, and even Krishna said to Narad, Nam Vasami Bakunthi. O Narada, I do not abide in Bakunt. Bakunt is heaven. I do not live there. I do not live in the heart of the yogis. I live where my devotees remember me by singing in devotion. So, the devotional song in India has always been, till recently, in classical ragas. But the way they have been systematically included in Guru Granth, they have a special place. Now, there are 31 main ragas in Guru Granth Sahib, but the total, including the sub-ragas, are 60. Now, again, the question is, how is this a part of Sikh religion? Let's first understand that raga is a complex structure of musical melody. And as I said, it's a classical music form. It is set to rules of how to build a melody which can ignite a certain mood in the reciter and the listener. So the whole thing is creation of a mood, creation of the mind receptive to that vibration, both by the singer and by the listener. And that's why this raga is so important that they say that it can melt the stones, it can ignite fire, it can bring the clouds. Malhar, for example, can bring rainfall. So the whole music is geared to ignite, to kindle, to set a flame, a mood. And each raga is a chapter or a section in Guru Granth Sahib. Let's not start. That each chapter starts with that. And Guru Granth starts with Asa Rag. Now, Asa is hope. And all the hymns produced in Asa Rag are found in this section, ordered chronologically by the Guru, are other Bhagat that have written in that raga. So this is one chapter of Asa, which is the first part of the Guru Granth Sahib. Now, ragas, as I said, are a part, a system to create a mood. But one thing is to be noted is most of the people think that the mood pertains to the certain time. Some ragas in the morning, some ragas in the evening. Dhrupat must not be sung in the morning. Bhairavi must not be sung in the... No, it's not like that. A mood can be created by the music of raga regardless of the time of the day. There is no restriction about that. And these 60 ragas are the melodies, are basically setting the mood of the hymn, adding to deeper dimension. And Guru Granth ends with Ragmala, the ultimate page of Guru Granth Sahib, 1430. And one that is called Ragmala. And it's a composition of 12 verses, 60 lines that names various ragas that appear in the Guru Granth. So 60 lines, 12 verses in Ragmala embody the ragas. There, of course, there is a dispute about that because, curiously, this Ragmala misses certain ragas which are in Guru Granth. Now, the compositions of Guru Arjan Dev are entitled Mundamani, meaning the royal seat. The end is sealed. There can be no addition after that. And literally Ragmala is, Rag is music, we said, and Mala is a garland, so it's a garland of music. And this actually gave rise to a new concept, the Ragmala paintings. As I said, there's a difference in the list, but there exists a number of such lists in the musical system. Now the division, there are 8 ragas that are utilized in Guru Granth Sahib that have not been mentioned in Ragmala. Biharga, Vadhan, Manch, Jetsri, Ramkali, Tukri, Prabhati, Jajavanti. Then Mali Gaur is not included in Ragmala, but Gaura is. So the 60 ragas, I'll come later on in order of preference, appearance are, as I said, Asa, Gujri, Gauri, Dipkri, Dhrasri, Purbi, Siri, Maj, and so on. That all the 60 are like that. And the last is Jajavanti. Now the contents, if you look at it, Asa Diva, Asa has 11 hymns, Gujri has 22 hymns, 33, and they go on and on. But undeniably, they form an integral part of the Guru Granth. As a matter of fact, they are the pillars on which the Sikh Kirtan takes place. Now, the music, the creation of the ragas are embodiment of the desire. After why do we pray? We pray for a hope. We pray for some miracle to come and give us some light in the darkness area. So Asa, with the start of the Guru Granth, has a strong emotion of inspiration and courage. Then Rag Gujri, if you talk of it, it's like that if a person is in the desert and he is holding water and water starts sipping through the joint fingers, and then you realize the value of that water in the desert. So Rag Gujri leads the listener to realize that with the passage of time, you would realize the value of the nature, and that will give you an awareness of your mortality and make you realize that utilize the remaining lifetime more wisely. So the subtle hints are there. The third Rag Gauri in the Guru Granth, there is one Shabad under the title Rag Gauri Dipki. In this Shabad, Sohila is a lori, it's a lullaby. Now what's a lullaby? It's a kind of a bedtime story. That's why Kirtan Sohila is a last recitation which is sung just before you go to bed. Because Kirtan Sohila, the Sohila is a lori, and that has to be a kind of a bedtime story. Of course, when the Gurus wrote that, it was not for in that mode, but then the music that coming in sends you to sleep, like a mom singing a lullaby to a child. And that traditionally used not only as a way of comforting a child, but also a means by which mothers share their experiences and knowledge. So this rag enlightens the listener through knowledge and experience and brings them to realization that to gain truth, you must first realize that you are in darkness. This enlightenment makes the listener have a feeling of certainty, fearlessness, and new hope. Now look at this. You start with asa, then you understand that asa is going to give you a hope in Rag Gujri, which makes you realize the real transient part, and then you go to bed full of calmness, peace. Then what happens after peace? Comes Rag Dhanasri. That gives a sense of complete carefreeness when you have peace. All the cares are a matter of the past. And that arises from a sense of contentment and richness from the things that we have in our life. And they give the listener a positive and optimistic attitude towards the future. Now, what Guru Granth states in Ragmala, the garland of ragas, see the connectivity. They are not haphazard. As I was discussing, that death gives birth to life. Here one raga gives birth to the other. The interconnectivity is too strong. Then comes Rag Gauri Purbi. It contains strong emotions of experience, along with the feelings of preparation in order to go further and to achieve more. And there are confident feelings in the rag. And there is also uncertainty, and there is a request for help to achieve the desired goal. You know, when you are carefree, then you see, is that enough? No. Something is lacking. So the sentiment of Rag Gauri Purbi is well considered assessment of circumstances without either excess confidence or extreme helplessness. And then comes the rag Sri Rag, which is steeped in the tradition of the mainstream Indian classical music. It's serious. So you see, from carefreeness to seriousness. And it provokes in its nature and creates an atmosphere where the listener is led to heed the advice. He is mesmerized, he is hypnotized, and he is educated. Educated about the strength that he has innately to face the future with both humility and gain knowledge. So the strengthening of the moral fiber, of confidence, of awareness, that is there. Then comes Rag Maj. This was composed by 5th Guru, Guru Arjan Dev. As a matter of fact, this is a curious creation of Guru Arjan Dev. Its origins are based in the Punjabi folk music. So it's not essentially a part of the Indian classical scene, but it has become a part of that because of its capacity. And its essence was inspired, as I said, Maja regions, the traditions of Ossian. Now, what is Ossian? Ossian is a game of waiting and yearning for the return of the beloved one. And this was an essential part of the romantic part of this word. And the feelings evoked by this raga have been compared to that of a mother waiting for her child to return after a long period of separation. She has anticipation, she has hope, and she is painfully aware of the uncertainty of the return, because on that time you can never be sure. So this raga brings the emotion of extreme love and is highlighted by the sorrow and the anguish of separatism. Then comes Rag Gauri Gogri, and it's a mixture of calmness. When there is hope, there is anguish, there is looking forward to. Ultimately, there is a mixture of calmness and control in feeling. You control yourself. Your son is coming back. Your relation is coming back. Your beloved is coming back. So the emotional message of the raga is open and truthfulness. The emotions are conveyed in a direct, very disciplined manner. And the balance discussed in the raga is evident in the structure. Is as they say, restricted to mad saptak, the middle scale. Then comes the major rag Gauri, which is an extortion, an advice to the listener to strive harder to achieve an objective. However, the encouragement given by this rag does not allow the ego to increase. It creates an atmosphere where the listener is encouraged without becoming arrogant. That's the beauty of the rag. And then comes Rag Gauri Dakshini. It is similar to Rag Gauri, but it's in the South Indian style. Now look, a North Indian guru creating his own raga is adopting the rag from South. It includes tal, highlights the strict and the disciplined aspect of Gauri. Then comes Gauri Cheti. It generates a different sensation of fear. What might happen if we lose the things we take for granted? If our beloved one goes, if we become poor, if we lose our house, any loss, it creates a feeling of panic and regret. Now you will ask why. It's like creating an image of tragedy. And tragedy always creates catharsis, purgation of the bad emotions, wrong emotions. You become more sublime. It's a process of sublimation. The feeling of panic, regret, and then it goes on to the rest raga that, okay, regret is there, fear is there, but it's not permanent. Then comes rag, Baragan. Baragan is sadness, separation. The listener is left with an intense feeling of sorrow and emptiness. However, the balance ensures that this feeling leads to the effort to discover exactly what is missing. So it creates a feeling of sadness, which becomes a lesson. And then is Gauri Purbi from Bihar, Orissa. The tone of this raga is self-assessment. That's a positive attitude of the improvement. It creates an atmosphere of constantly progressing and instills the feeling of enduring achievement. And then comes Rag Gauri Maj, which is created by Guru Arjan Dev. Yearning, regret, anticipation, and then longing to meet the beloved. And then Maja is there, but then can Malwa be left behind? So Gauri Malwa comes next, which is based on the Punjabi folk music again, influenced by Malwa region. And the origin of this rag can be compared to thoughtful, very serious, and caring advice given by a true friend. The rag persuades the listener with such truth and friendliness that it's impossible to disagree, even if the listener does not like the advice. And then comes Gauri Mala. Gauri Mala is a combination of good, pure, true, positive thoughts. There's a feeling of having worked hard, increased energy, and devotion to the truth. Then comes Gauri Sorat. It creates a feeling of attraction, appeal, and sharpens your attention to the target. However, the feeling of being enticed, and later are balanced with a sense of duty and realization, needing to obey the warnings. So this is one part, and then comes rag asa kafi. So preparation has been made, separation, hope, everything, and then comes hope, which we'll take up in the next episode. See the development of the human emotions, and also not only the development but the molding of the human emotions towards the better aspects of the life. Despondency gives birth to hope, and on the big concept of hope being reborn, it was there in the first. Now again, after all the attraction and all the sadness, the sense of duty and the hope comes back. So with Rag Asa Kafi, we start in the next episode. Thank you.